Every day, every one of us experiences situations in which we need to defend ourselves from other people. Sometimes it can be done with our fists, sometimes with our minds, and sometimes both. But most of the time, just being able to speak up is enough. In today's video, I will share with you some stories that show us how important it is to know how to stand up for ourselves. Let's get started. My boss asked me to come into work while I was dying of COVID. This was back in 2020, when everything shut down. I was working at a call center where everyone was working from home except management, of course. Management had to be there in person in order to make sure that someone was at the office to answer phones in case something happened to the system. Well, the system went down. So they were sitting there with nothing to do. They offered me the position of coming in, because my schedule was more flexible than most of the other agents. I accepted and I came in while everyone else was at home. Well, after about a week of doing this, I got COVID. I tried to tell my boss I had symptoms and I tested positive. She told me to come in anyway, because no one else was there and we had to keep the office open. I called out sick, and she kept calling me non-stop. At first it was every hour, then every half an hour, then every 15 minutes. No voice, mail, or anything. Just calling and calling and calling. I finally answered and told her I was getting ready to go to bed, because I had a fever and was shivering uncontrollably. She tells me that I have to come in. I tell her I can't because I am legitimately too sick to drive. She says that I should let her know when I am better so she can give me my next schedule. And I told her I am not coming in tomorrow because I have COVID. If you need someone to come in, find someone else, because I am not putting other people at risk because you are too cheap to pay someone overtime or too lazy to pick up the phone and call someone in. She goes radio silent. Next day comes around, no calls. I wake up feeling better and I go to work like normal. As I'm walking into the office, who do I see? The boss outside waiting for me to come in. I ask her why she is there and she says that she was trying to get in contact with me last night because the system went down again and she needed someone there. I tell her that she has my number and she knows that I'm sick. She says that I didn't leave a voicemail. I tell her that I could untalk because I was in bed and I was too sick to think straight. She drops it, but the next day comes around again and she messages me, "Can you come in tomorrow?" I respond with, "Are you kidding me?" And she says, "The system went down last night and I need someone there." I responded, "Do you have a plan B? If I say no," she says, "What do you mean?" Then I responded with, "If I say that I'm still too sick to come in, what's your next move then?" She goes, "I guess I'll have to call Sarah." I said, "Perfect. Tell Sarah to bring her laptop because the internet at the office is spotty. And she is gone non-needed for the phones." Then I followed up with, "Oh, and tell her that it's a 12-hour shift." She says, "How did you know?" I responded with, "It's not a secret that you only schedule people to come in if they're willing to stay for 12 hours. Because you do want to pay overtime." Then I said, "Tell Sarah that I said hi." Then I blocked her. Never heard from her again. No. 2. My lazy, entitled roommate tried to force me out of our shared apartment. I moved into a shared apartment last year. It's a 3-bedroom apartment, and there were already 2 girls living there. I was supposed to be moving in with my boyfriend at the time, but he ended up breaking up with me right before we were supposed to move in. So I had no place to go, and I asked these girls if I could move in, and they said yes. They were cool, and I paid half the rent and utilities. One of them was very lazy and would always try to take advantage of the other. For example, she would say that she did the dishes, even though she did own it, because the other girl would clean up after her all the time. or she would use the other girl's clothes without asking. This made me uncomfortable, so I talked to the other girl about it, and she told me that she was also uncomfortable, but that she didn't know how to stand up to her. Well, one day I came home and I found a lazy girl in my room, taking stuff out of my closet. I was confused and asked her what she was doing. She said that she needed to clean my closet because it was messy. I told her that I didn't appreciate her going through my things without asking me first, and she gave me a look as if I was crazy. The other girl was there, and she also looked at me like I was crazy. I told her, "I don't care if you think that I'm overreacting, but you have to ask me first before you touch my things." She got really mad and started yelling at me and the other girl. She said that I was making a big deal out of nothing, and that she was trying to help me. I told her that if she ever touched my stuff again without asking me first, then I would ask the landlord to terminate our lease, because I wasn't going to live with someone who disrespected me. She laughed and said that I couldn't do that because it was her name on the lease. I told her that if she was going to treat me like that, then I would move out immediately. I packed one bag and left, and I didn't hear from her for weeks. A few weeks later, the other girl told me that the lazy girl had been trying to convince her to break our lease and move out so she could give the apartment to her boyfriend. She wanted to move out anyway, so she agreed, and now lazy girl and her boyfriend are living there together. No. 3. I got back at my neighbor who parked in my parking spot. I recently moved into a new apartment building. There are assigned parking spots for residents and guests. As I was moving in, there was only one car parked in the visitor parking, and my assigned spot was free. Later that evening, I came home and parked in my spot, only to come out a few minutes later to someone parked in my spot and a note on my windshield. The note read, "Sorry, but your car is blocking my assigned spot. Please move it so I can park in mine." I got super angry because I parked in my spot, so I took a picture of his car and I walked inside. I told my neighbor who saw the same thing happen, and he told me to go talk to the manager. I went to the manager, who told me that she'd check the cameras and call me back. A couple of hours later, I received a call from her saying that the guy parked in my spot, but he actually parked in the guest spot. He must have thought that my spot was his because it was close to his. She said that she was sorry, but there was nothing she could do. I asked her if she could send me a copy of the footage, and she said that she would. The next morning, I received a message from the guy apologizing for parking in the wrong spot. He said that he must have gotten confused because he just moved in yesterday. I sent him the footage and told him to read the signs correctly next time, because he is lucky that I did untow him. He got very defensive and I blocked him. The next day, the manager sent me the footage, and it turns out that he parked in the guest spot. I guess the moral of this story is to always read the signs and don't be an a-hole. These stories show us that it's important to know how to stand up for ourselves. If we don't, then people will take advantage of us. But when we do, then people will respect us more. Have you ever stood up for yourself? If so, please share your story in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. Thank you for watching. And if you liked the video, then please hit the thumbs up button.